Hi everybody, it's me, Greg Mannarino. How are you today? It is Friday, August 1st, 2014. Alright people, before you even get started, as I am doing this video blog, the US equity markets are still open and they've been all over the place. The Dow has been up, the Dow has been down. The market is trying to make sense of what is going on at this time. And I want to shed a little light on that, but I really want to push home a certain perspective because people, as far as I'm concerned, the music is pretty much stopping right now. And I do want to discuss what I mean by that. It's something I've been talking about since I sat down in front of this computer years ago, trying to let people understand what I believe is going on here. And people, honestly, if you've been following me for all of these years, you know that I've been pretty much dead on with this. And I think we, right now, may be at a critical moment in time. All right. Let me say this. Yesterday, when I had done my video about the Dow plummeting 317 points, I had said that today we were going to hear about this jobs number. It was very anticipated. And I had also said this number was not going to be real. It was going to be fake. They were going to sit back. They were going to contemplate the exact number that would work to try to boost this market. That's all this is. It's a manipulated, managed market, people. If you don't see that by now, my advice to you is go hide under a rock somewhere. That's the truth. So we got this number, and what was it? It was a Goldilocks number. As a matter of fact, it was so perfect. When I heard it today, I started laughing outwardly in my living room. That's the truth. The number came in at 209,000 below estimates. We also got a tick up in the unemployment rate. So what was the message to the market from this data here? Very simple. The Federal Reserve will not be raising rates anytime soon. Now, I've come out here publicly stating many times they will not be raising rates for the foreseeable future. Forget about what's coming out of their mouths. They can't do it. And it all goes back to the debt issue, people. I cannot stress this enough, how people need to get their head around this because we're seeing cracks in this bubble now. I've been blogging about this on my Insta blog, on Seeking Alpha. I hope you're paying attention to that as well, people. Let's go over some current events here to let you understand the gravity of what's going on at this time, because it's truly epic. Okay, again, and I covered these when they first came out. Banco Santo, Portugal's largest bank, facing a credit default issue. We saw that spread to a South American nation, Angola. Now, I mean, it's all over the headlines right now about Argentina. Now, I had said that the banking system has to be understood at its most basic level for the mechanism that lies behind it. And one of them is called a credit default swap. I came out here talking about this, I think, before anyone else did. We just found out today that the International Swaps and Derivatives Association states that this is, in fact, a instance where credit default swaps will be initiated. That's what's spooking the market right now. So understand. Let me put another perspective on this for you if you don't just understand the basics of it. What this means is when an institution or an entire country defaults on their debt, that responsibility is put on to another party. It's swapped. You got it? So this has the potential to start a cascade of events which will sweep the globe. No doubt about it. That's why JP Morgan is stepping in here. Understand, I am more than certain that JP Morgan has stake in this. Don't you believe that? So does Goldman Sachs and everyone else. And they don't want to have to pay out anything. They're willing to take the money for the insurance of the swap, but they don't want to pay it out. This is what happened with AIG. All right, we got forced to bail out AIG. They couldn't pay back the debt of the collapse of Bear Stearns or Lehman Brothers and other banks as well. Again, 2008, people, that was the party over moment. The system died at that point. What we have now is a terminal side effect. I can't stress this enough. I talk about it all the time. So what we're witnessing now, people, really, is cracking in the bubble in debt on a global scale. People, if you take nothing away from anything I have ever said since day one till today, you need to take this away. The debt bubble is the greatest threat to humankind, bar none. Greater than terrorism, greater than disease, greater than war. Because when this bubble bursts, and we're seeing this crack now, it's going to affect every human being on the planet, you included. I don't care where you live. I don't care if you live in Beverly Hills here in the United States or anywhere, in the most ritzy town, in the most ritzy house. You're in a lot of trouble here. Because understand, the mechanism behind this is so dastardly and so frankly evil. Look, I'm not a religious guy. I'm not a religious guy, and I get a lot of flack for that from people, but this is my perspective here. You can look at this from that perspective and say, we're seeing a lot of events here that are clearly in the book of Revelations and throughout the Bible. That may be so, but I try to look at this from a different perspective, and my perspective is simply this. This mechanism that has been put forth by our policymakers, okay, all over the world, and their central banks has allowed an alternative universe to be created. All we're seeing right now around the world, all of this social unrest and wars, which are going to get worse, is all about a scramble for finite resources. As a matter of fact, I wrote an Instablog today on Seeking Alpha. I'm going to place a link right down here in the comments section. Please click on that and read that article. Very short. It'll take you about a minute or two. Put a perspective on this for you. But understand, it's so simple and it's so right in our face. But people don't get this. By our policymakers colluding with the central bankers to create an environment where we are able to have unsound money, that is, borrowed debt from the future, stealing it from future generations, putting debt on their backs, your back right now, because you're that generation. We are that generation. Okay, that bill is becoming due. So all that cash that we have borrowed from the future has hyper and super inflated this bubble in debt. And this bubble in debt is not just a financial issue, people. I can't stress this enough. I've talked about it so many times, but people just don't get this. As that bubble bursts, and we're seeing this now with Argentina, it's right in our face, okay? It's all over. If you can't see this now, you got a problem. As this debt bubble bursts, those same resources that we've been able to pull from the future because of an unsound money system will not be available. It's that simple. That means that basic assets that we've been pulling from the future through this insurmountable debt will not be available. Basic things that people need to survive will not be available. It's that simple. Social unrest is going to sweep the globe. Wars, you think this is war? We're marching clearly towards global war. Okay, I outlined this all in my book, The Politics of Money, how this is going to play out. It's a resource issue, people, and as these resources are not available to be pulled out of the future in the form of debt, we're borrowing from the future to live a better now. We've created an alternative universe, okay? As this alternative universe normalizes, as it becomes more real, tens or hundreds of millions of people are going to die on a global scale because of the resources that will not be available, because of pandemonium, which is going to break out in the streets. Again, I put this into this kind of a perspective. I said people will be eating each other in the streets, and they will. They will be murdering. They will be pillaging. They will do whatever they need to do to survive. And the other perspective that you need to understand is we're watching something here in our lifetime that we've never witnessed before. That is this, a shift of influence and power from the West to the East. Do you think this is going to be a smooth transition? Absolutely not. We're witnessing it now. Things are occurring here, people. A lot of it is not even in the mainstream media. And let's just talk about that real quick here. We've all been hearing about this ISIS, this terrorist organization that is now flourishing in Iraq. I don't know how many of you have had the displeasure of seeing the bodies of children, the bodies of men and women piled on top of each other, Christians that are being slaughtered by this organization. Our president hasn't even come out and talked about it. He's the absentee president right now. People, look, I'm not beating up. I know there's a lot of Obama fans out there. And I'm not just beating up on him, but it's all the Western leaders here. They have lost control. They don't know what they're doing. They realize that there's no stopping this. They can't, there's no way out. None. So what they're going to try to do here is hide behind things and try to, distract people with other types of issues. We see this all the time. But pay attention to what's going on here, people, because again, this is an unfolding of events unlike anything we've ever seen in the history of our lifetimes. I'm almost 50 years old. I have not seen this before, these unfolding of events here. We are clearly marching towards war. It's a march or a power grab, a resource grab. The debt bubble, people, is cracking. I would be willing to bet that most of you out there are probably younger than I am. And throughout your whole lifetime, all you've been hearing is the debt is not sustainable. The debt is not sustainable. But what does it actually mean, the grand scheme of things? If the debt is not sustainable, that means we cannot continue to pull resources from the future to live this alternative universe. We do not have a sound money system. Our forefathers here in the United States understood the importance of a sound money system. That is, to have a gold standard, to have a limit on spending. Okay, with this debt-based economic model that we have, that has been created by our policymakers in collusion with the central bankers, has allowed a system to develop and fester, which is going to be the downfall of humankind. It's that simple. It's that simple, people. I don't know how to put this another way for you, but things are changing, and they're changing very rapidly here. And I want people to understand what's happening. I want people to pay attention and just not live in their box, blindfolded to what is happening right in front of their eyes. Understand the depth, the gravity of the issue involving global debt, and this bubble, people, is cracking now. It's cracking. They're going to try to push this off through mechanisms that we haven't even thought of yet. Okay, but there's no way out of it. And it's very simple to put another perspective on this for you. And I talk about this all the time. Again, I outline this in my book, The Politics of Money, at length. All you need to do is understand that every single economic and financial bubble in history, and the human race right now is also in a bubble. I wrote articles about this as well. The human bubble has been created through this mechanism of an alternative universe via the debt bubble. Okay, so as the debt bubble bursts, and it will burst because every single bubble has one common theme, and that is this: they rise above a level that can be sustained by any means. By any means. Okay, so no matter what they try to do to keep this bubble hyperinflated, it won't work. It's just going to create a more devastating issue down the line here. Debt bubble is going to burst. That's going to force a correction, okay, like every other bubble in human life. We are going to have a loss of human life that is unimaginable. It's going to sweep the globe, people, and there's no way out of it. Anyway, people, today is Friday. This video is awfully long-winded. I'm going to end this now. If you think this video has been important, if you think people need to grasp these concepts, please give me a thumbs up. Please share this video. It's so simple. Just share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Google+, in whatever, everywhere, LinkedIn. Let people hear these things. And check out that short article I wrote for on my Insta blog for Seeking Alpha. Again, it's in the comment section of this video blog. People, also, before I let you go, I'm going to be doing an interview with Greg Hunter tomorrow. We are going to cover all of these topics. It will be out on Monday. I'm going to urge you to put that on your calendar and watch it. We're going to cover a lot of things here that you're not going to hear anywhere else. That's a fact. So put that on your calendar. Greg Hunter, Monday. People, have a great weekend, really, but think about these things and try to understand that what we're witnessing now are events that really must be understood for what they are. We've never seen anything like this before in our lifetimes. and we're about to witness something that is going to change the landscape of the world. That's it. I'll see you Monday.